So you just, yeah. So you might have to click that off. And there we go. Yep. Sorry, Leighton, you already sat down. All right. So welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Um, thank goodness for space. Thank goodness for space. So this last week has been a week at our house. It's just been one of those weeks where things just went upside down and were really challenging for our family. And it was so much of that situation that I didn't have a lot of time to do like my normal self-care stuff. Like I didn't have any time to practice yoga, except when I was teaching, which is not my preferred way of doing things. And not a lot of time to like walk the dog or do any journaling or contemplation, all those things that help me feel more centered. And it stinks because, I could use that in a time when our family is really challenged. And I think in the past, I really would have been falling apart by now, like really stressed out and freaking out by now. But this time I'm not falling apart. And I realized it's because though I don't have a lot of time, I have a lot of space, a lot of internal space, a sense of space. So my brain, though there's a lot to deal with, is not contracted and making me freak out. So because I have that internal space, I'm still doing okay. Now, I'm going to need some time to do self-care soon, but like it's working okay for me. So the space in the mental world says that I have enough room to hold all of this and not get overwhelmed. So space is our final of the elements that we've been going through. We had earth. You can see it moves up the body, earth and water and fire, and then air, and now space. And it truly is space, like outer space, right? And also inner space. Space is like the vastness and infinity, and it holds everything. That's what's the beauty of it. Everything is held in space. And within everything, if we go back to our science lessons, there is space. Like at the center of the atoms, there's space. So it's this funky thing where on the macrocosm, space out there holding everything, and the microcosm within us, space that's holding together. So it's invisible and so very easily forgotten. But when you feel spacious yourself, you can hold more. You can hold more joy. You can hold more pain. Not that we want to like fill up with that stuff, but there's the capacity to experience and stay present and stay clear for what needs to happen, what is happening. Without it, we become overfull and contracted. And when we're contracted, we feel that in the body as like just the body doesn't feel good, and the muscles get rigid and tight. They can't move. And we feel it in our minds as like limited choices. There's like, this is the way it has to be. And there's no space for something new, something different. Also, space in that capacity of holding everything is also always holding you. So you are always held by this larger than everything else force or element. It holds the entire universe. So certainly it holds you at every moment. So when we open to space, there's the capacity to drop our burdens, like to let space hold that. We don't have to hold on to all these things all the time. To let space deal with the challenges a little bit more. When we feel space, we feel a sense of belonging and support. And that is when we can enter into peacefulness, because that space is always peaceful. It's always, pulsing with love and peace and freedom. So all these times when we say, oh, we're going to enter the heart, we're really entering the heart space where we connect with those natural qualities that are already there. We just forget. So as we practice today, we'll practice entering into and connecting with that sense of space element. It's invisible, but we feel it on our inner experience, physical inner experience, and outside of us. And when we do, again, we enter into spaciousness and peace. That's the hope, at least. So start by taking the seat that's going to support you to practice. You sit up really well. Let your hands rest onto your thighs, and then close your eyes. And though we've turned off the visual field, right? Like we're not looking outside, feel that there is space around you. And it's not the air that's touching your skin and has temperature. Literally the space that the air is within. And then imagine your body as hollow. And there's space within as well. Feel the breath move into the form, the hollow, empty form in a good way, and the breath emptying out. And bring that awareness of kind of spacious hollowness into your head as well, especially if the mind is busy or there's been a lot going on lately. Just let that hollowness sort of move up into the skull. And as if the pores of your skin could open up, let there be an exchange of space on the inside, the outside. In this way, we start to soften into being held. Staying open to space, bring your attention into specifically your heart space. Feel the fullness and that sort of emptiness. It's like emptiness that is full, the vastness of the universe, right in the center of your own heart. And listening inwards, form your intention for this practice. And lift your palms, bring them together in front of you. Feel the space of connection as they meet. We'll chant one Om and follow that with the Shiva invocation. Part of what that invocation talks about is his vastness, his dancing into everything into existence within the space that is here. So one round of Om. Welcome your in-breath. Om. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om. Gently bow your head towards your heart in an acknowledgement of the vibrance, the space, the peacefulness that always resides within the heart. And release your hands back down onto your thighs. Lift your head slowly upwards. Open your eyes. All right, please come to hands and knees to begin practice today. Particularly today, we'll pay attention to the space of the back body. That's where we tend to find ease of connection to space, and specifically the kidney area. And we've worked with this before, so You'll just feel it lighting up. On hands and knees, pause first. Take a breath and let the whole inner body expand as if it was hollow and just filling up with breath. And then soften a little bit, soften the skin and the bones. Then begin to move into cat and cow. So inhale the thighs back, reach your heart forward, lift your gaze. And exhale, scoop your tail, really expand the back rib cage as you round to look in towards your spine. And go back and forth on your own breath pace. Imagine there's empty space inside the body. It's just being moved around by the breath and by your intention. But every in-breath, open a little more to this quality of space. And it can feel nebulous, because it kind of is, but it's opening to vastness, not being stuck in your limitation or the smaller self. After your next exhale, come to a neutral spine right in the center of the mat. Walk your knees back a few inches. Curl your toes under. And then imagine that someone was connecting like a plug into the low back waistline, right above the waist where the kidneys are, connecting there. And that's what lifts you up. So first hover the knees and then puff up and lift up and back to downward facing dog. And send your breath and attention all the way through your whole body again, as if it's hollow. And with your exhale, you can actually empty out anything that feels like it's cluttering the mind, cluttering the body, so that the space is more clear. Clear space, easier to think. Then reach one heel for the mat and bend the other knee. And switch sides. Reach the other heel for the mat. Bend the knee that you first had stretched. And then come into the center, rise up onto both tiptoes and just slightly round your spine as if you were going to do cat tilt again. So the kidneys are exposed towards the ceiling. Then lift your armpits, soften your upper back, reach your hips back, reach your heels down, and stretch the heels towards the floor. Downward facing dog. Look up towards the top of the mat, step or hop yourself forward into standing forward bend. Uttanasana, bow over. And inhale, reach your heart halfway forward. Exhale, fold over. Inhale, spaciousness, heart halfway forward. Exhale, fold. So as if you were being held all around by the space. Now root your legs down, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. And exhale, bring your palms together in front of your heart center. Refresh your intention as you take the heads of your arm bones back. And then let's just bring the hands to the low back waistline. We've done this before, but so here's my waist. I'm just going to go in towards the spine a bit and slightly up, not very much. For today, make your hands into a fist and place them on either side of your spine. And that's about the size of your kidneys, right about there, sitting back here behind your, just in front of your ribs. So now with your hands back here, you can do like a little tiny rub. So you kind of warm up that area. And then drawing the front ribs down, lift the back ribs up. So it's as if you start to expose the kidneys. And imagine that the kidneys, if they've been curled up tight, that they sort of unfold a little and spread down. So if we've been stressed out, the kidneys will kind of move up and tighten up. So imagine they could soften down and spread out. You can even do that with your hands if you'd like. Keeping your hands on the back waist now, give a little lift. So the front ribs drop down, the kidneys lift up, Imagine that the kidney area, those two little fists back there, are actually plumping up and filling up with space. Yeah, then take your shoulders back, and I've had my head down, so I'm going to bring my head back as well. But this is the area we're going to just draw attention towards today. Becoming more spacious, more wide, more vast back there. Then slowly just spread your arms to the side. So it's like the reminder to spread out, and then reach both arms up overhead if you have the room in your space. Exhale and bow forward into standing forward bend. And notice how that kidney area that was just getting touched is now exposed. Yeah, good. Let it expand in all directions out towards the edges of the horizon. Inhale and reach the heart halfway forward. And then exhaling, step your left leg back and come into a lunge. Inhale to open to spaciousness. Right, we get super space, and exhale, just releasing contraction, constriction. Now fire up your legs and hug them to the middle so you're held steady, Place your right hand on your right thigh, twist to the right. And as you do, just feel the band of the kidney area staying open, not closing down. Then take the right arm up and over your ear. And if you'd like, you can put the left knee down if you need that support today. It's totally fine. Otherwise, hooking the right hip back. Glide the rib cage forward, not out, just forward. And breathe into the space of the back body. Lean the head slightly back. Connect with the sense of you're held here. All around, embraced by space. Exhaling, bring your hand back down to the mat. Step your back foot forward into standing forward bend. Inhale and extend towards the front with your heart. And exhale, step your right leg back. Come into lunge on the second side. With the breath, you open to the spaciousness of space, the vastness of space all around. Instead of contracting down, like that's our first thing that we tend to do, a habit, just contract to get there. So first soften and then contract, but only as much as needed. Hug the legs to the middle. Left hand on the left thigh, twist towards the left. And bring attention again back to the back waistline. So the front ribs draw back. So the back waistline can stay full. And then take your arm up and over your ear. Again, back knee can come down if you need to. Good. So notice if there's this like real pulling with the head forward. And instead, imagine the back of your cranium filled with air and space, and just glide your chin up, your head back slightly. Yeah, nice. Exhale, bring your hand back down to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Receive a full breath that goes all the way down to the back of the lungs, the lowest parts of the lungs, and stay full and bright as you shift forward into plank pose. So sometimes the kidneys will droop towards the floor. Lift them up as if they're hovering away from the floor. And then the knees down or off, slowly lower to your belly, come on down. Reach your hands back behind your back, lift your shoulders away from the mat, and inhale, lift up in Shalabhasana. Feel the space all around you. And as you look out, keep your eyes soft, and instead of seeing objects, see the space. Very different experience. Exhale, lower, hands under shoulders, go back to downward facing dog. There are moments of space in our lives that we just don't pay attention to. And when we start to pay attention, we find a sense of ease, more peacefulness as we go through our days. Look up towards the top of the mat, step or hop yourself forward to standing forward bend. Inhale to reach their heart out. Exhale and fold. Take your arms wide and come up to the sky. And then draw palms together in front of the heart. So as the sun resides in the space, in the vastness of space, we'll take Sun salutation is our space salutation. So releasing your arms by your sides. Inhale, lift up, reach up. Exhale and fold into Uttanasana. Inhale, reach your heart halfway forward. Step back to plank. Exhale. Invite all of the elements to participate. So there's earthiness in the arms and legs. There's wateriness in the thighs moving back. The pelvis is strong and the fire in the belly is there. Air moving in and out, but space holding it all. Then lower slowly to your belly. Curl up for cobra. Bring a little attention actually to your back waistline. Soften the eyes so you see into space. And then exhale and go back to downward facing dog. Inhale, free and easy. Exhale, releasing contraction that's not needed. Look forward towards the top of the mat and step or hop your way forward, standing forward bend. Inhale, extend your heart. Exhale, fold. Arms wide, come up to standing. And bring the palms to the heart center. Soft eyes. Release your hands. Inhale, lift up, look up. Exhale, bow. Follow the breath as you fold. Inhale, expand with space. Heart forward. Exhale, back, plank. Top of a push-up. Hover in plank, making the arms and legs strong. And then lower down. Take your time. To your belly. Lift your shoulders, lift your heart. Cobra, head back, heart up. Filled with space, not contraction. Exhale back, downward facing dog. So it's that subtlety, feeling the difference. Are you working and contracting and stressing, which minimizes space? Or can you stay spacious as you move and are necessarily challenged? Look forward to the top of the mat. Step or hop forward. And that's something for you to feel out on your own. Inhale, heart halfway out. Exhale, fold. It's like diving into the mystery of your heart, the spaciousness there. Pushing your legs down, reach your arms up, rise up. And palms together in front of your heart. We'll do one more. Inhale, lift up, grow tall. Exhale and fold into Uttanasana, exposing the back body. Inhale, reach your heart out. Step or hop back, plank. Exhale. Shoulders over wrists. Good. Just lift the back of your head if it's drooping down. And then slowly lower. Take your time. Nice. Inhale, shoulders up and back, heart forward, cobra. And yes, there's work. The arms and legs are active, but can there be space within the work? Just a softer way of approaching. Exhale, move back, downward facing dog. We need all of the elements. And we need them in different combinations at different times. And so when we come to the mat to practice in this way, inhale, take your right leg up. And we focus on one. It's like, all right, let me get this back into my repertoire. And then you can access it when you need it. Step your right foot forward, come into lunge. Scissor the legs to the middle so you're steady. And then inhale up into crescent. Lunge. Let's take the hands again back towards the kidneys. So there's the waistline, and you come up just a little bit, and I like spreading my fingers kind of around the kidneys. Draw the front ribs down and back, and just move your ribs, move your kidneys back towards your hands. Yeah, shoulders back, head up. Good. Keeping that really broad. Imagine now that your legs started from there and push down from the kidneys into the legs, into the floor, and sweep your arms. I like to sweep them from the side and then all the way up over. So we have that warmth in the kidney area and softening, moving back into it. See if you can just slightly back off and move into the space behind you. Different experience than charging forward into the space ahead of you. Exhale, touch the mat. Step back to downward facing dog.
Switch sides. Inhaling, sweep your left leg up into space. Make the whole left leg firm and realize that not only is it in space, it is full of space. Kind of a mind blow sometimes. Bring your knee towards your nose, step forward, come into lunge, and come on up to crescent once you've firmed your legs.
Again, your hands come back to your back waistline. Now, even with the hands on the back waistline, take your right thigh high and descend your left knee. Yeah, good. Then front ribs soften in so that the back ribs can move back more. For me, I find that if I lower my head, somehow I get a little more there. The shoulders back, head lifts. Reach your arms to the sky as you're ready. Again, imagine that the legs start at the kidney area. They start up that high. And so from the space of the kidneys, reach down through long limbs, like twigs reaching out of you. At the same time, keeping soft, reach upwards, rise up. We belong here. You are held at all times. Space doesn't drop you. Good. Exhale, hands to the mat. This time you have the choice, go through a vinyasa, sun salutation if you want, or go to down dog, or go to child's pose if you need to rest. Sometimes we don't, because we don't access space as often, it can feel pretty tiring to get into it. And that's just the effort of all of the contractions and constrictions that have been limiting your space. That effort releasing, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm tired. I was holding on to a lot. So let's again take the right leg high. Step it forward into lunge. Step your back foot a little bit forward. We're coming to warrior one. So it comes a little forward, toes turn out. And then again, come up, bring your hands to your kidneys for a moment and bow a little forward. Bowing forward, you can swivel your hips a little more. So right hip back, left hip forward. Never going to get exactly there, but that's the idea. And then breathing into the space of the kidneys. Imagine that puffing up, and you just lean back to come up. Different experience than trying to force it from the front. So play around with, as you're ready, the arms can go up if you haven't. Play around with letting the pose unfold from the back of the body. If you're not sure what that means, just feel what the back of your body is doing in this moment. Again, imagine the legs starting way up in the kidneys and push down from kidneys into the floor and up through fingertips. Exhale, touch the mat, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your left leg high, three-leg dog. Step it forward into the lunge and bring your right foot in a little bit, turn it out for warrior one. Come up and then bring your hands to your kidneys as you tip a little bit forward on the diagonal. Good. Scissor your legs, soften your face. Right hip more forward, left hip more back as is available. And then move back into the kidneys, back into the back waistline. Feel like space is there and you're just moving, leaning back into this force that's holding you. As you get to upright, take your arms up. From the kidney area, stretch down through the leg tendrils into the earth as if you could root them into the earth. But then reach up through the ribs, the side body, the arms and fingertips to the vastness of space. We're on this tiny blue planet spinning through space. We can reach out to that. Gorgeous. Exhale, touch the mat again. Your choice again to vinyasa. We'll go down dog or go to child's pose. Check in with what your body needs in this moment. check in with what keeps you connected to a sense of spaciousness rather than constriction and contraction. So continuously tune in to your inner spaciousness, inner experience. All right. You may want to block near the top of your mat for your next little part of the series. It can be there or not. There we go. Let's take the right leg high again. This time, bend your right knee and lift the right knee up. Take it to the left. We do this often. And a lot of times, you guys are good, but I'll see the kidneys collapse. So puff into the kidneys, even as the leg goes over. Good, knee to nose, step forward into lunge, back heel down. Come up into warrior two, and again, take your hands to your kidneys. I know we're doing it over and over, but for some of us, it takes a little while before that actually registers. So that's why I'm just bringing your attention here again and again. So the front ribs soften down. Yeah, back ribs flare out into the hands. Keep your hands there just as a reminder, squeeze your legs. Yeah. Point your front knee towards your second toe and then hook the outer hip down on the right leg. Yeah, keeping that. Now, swipe the hands across the sides of the back to unfold your arms out to the horizon. Virabhadrasana 2. So the front hip, see if you can lift the right front hip off the right thigh a little. It's a little lift. That might get you a little more towards the front thigh coming parallel to the floor. Breathe into the space around you. And as you look out over your fingertips, instead of seeing the object, whatever it is that's ahead of you, see the space between you and the object. Very different way of looking at the world. Very meditative. You can do it wherever you are. Take your left hand to your hip, come to triangle pose. So right hand comes to the block or to the floor, Trikonasana. Take a beat to just soften into the kidney space in the back body, that you're held by this larger than everything force. Lean back. And with the legs steady, take the sides of the waistline back. Spin your heart, shoulders back. And take your arm to the sky if you haven't. Left arm to the sky. Yeah, good. So you'll see the head sometimes comes forward. Instead of that, lengthen your neck and take the top of your skull, the sides of your head back, the ears back. That's it. And you'll feel more freedom through your whole spine. Push down from the kidney area through the legs to lengthen through the sides of the waistline, nice and full. Good. Take your hand to your hip, look down at your front foot. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. So step your back foot up. You can use the block with you if you'd like. Lift up the left leg. Good. So be soft and spacious about it. Draw the front ribs softly in. It might knock you over. Back ribs move back and then spin. Take the top arm up as you're ready. Thinking about this, like feel the space all around you and within you. It's always there. See if you can take the top arm up and over your ear. Stretch longer from the core of your pelvis in all directions. And then we're going to come to triangle pose again. So bend your right knee, slide your right hand back, bring your left foot to the mat, and then straighten the right leg, and you end up in triangle pose. Maybe with your left arm still over your ear, maybe not. Nice, y'all. Exhale, bring your hand to the mat, bend your front knee. And if you'd like to go through a vinyasa, go through a vinyasa. If not, just meet up in downward facing dog or child's pose. Let it come from a sense of internal spaciousness rather than from some sort of external expectation. Our expectations will collapse our space really quickly.
try the second side. Take your left leg high in three-leg dog. Bend your left knee, take the left foot towards the right, and again, fill out your kidney space. Now step forward into lunge. Back heel spins down, cartwheel up to warrior two. Then bring your hands again back to the kidneys. Oftentimes they rest on the waist. We're just taking them up to kidneys. Pause. Now check your back leg, it's straight. Check your front toes pointing straight ahead, and then do bend the front knee. Yeah. With the legs steady and the thigh bones back, slide your tail under. Yeah. And then lift the left front hip point slightly away from the left leg. And that may give you more ease to descend the thigh. Yeah. Then just breathe. Breathe into the hands. As if someone's lightly holding you. And as you're ready, unfurl your arms parallel to the ground. Look out over fingertips. Not to see what's there, not a harsh, fierce drishti where you're looking at one point, but really soft. Seeing the space out ahead of your fingertips. It's always there. It's just invisible, so we don't pay attention. Back waistline full. Good. Bring your back hand to your hip. Bring your left hand to the mat for triangle pose or a block. Straighten the front leg. From all four corners of the feet, draw up through your legs to the core of your pelvis so your legs are supported. Inner thighs back, scoop your tail. Imagine the body is long and hollow. Again, you can unfurl the top arm. And then twist. The twist comes from the torso, from the midsection. Lift your chin, take your head back, then turn it. And that'll be different. Yeah, nice. From deep inside, push down and expand out. As if you're the galaxy expanding into space. Bring your hand to your hip, look down to the mat, bend your front knee, and again, come up to half moon. So you can step your right foot in a couple of steps to do that. I'm using a block today. I could use that support, so certainly possible options. Make the legs super firm. Thighs are back, tail in, so that helps engage the low belly. But then imagine, you're just resting into a pillow of space behind you. Sides of the waistline move back, shoulders back, head back. And remain spacious even though it's challenging. You take the top arm up and over the ear if that's possible. Then let's transition, bending the front knee, point it straight out over the toes. Reach way back with your right foot and step back to triangle pose, maybe keeping the arm over your ear. Nice, stretch the front leg fully straight. Good, exhale, touch the mat. So again, vinyasa or down dog or child's pose. Moving from a deep internal experience, not external validation or expectation. Totally different. When you arrive at down dog or child's pose, receive the breath just as we did in the beginning, as if you are hollow. But the pores of the skin are open. And there can be transfer of space and air moving through the space. Look up towards the top of the mat, rise on your tiptoes, bend your knees and step or hop your way forward into standing forward bend. Inhale and extend your heart. Exhale, bow. Root down as you reach for the highest galaxy, all the way up to the sky. And exhale to bring palms together at your heart center. So we'll take a standing balance. If you want support, feel free to step by your wall. All right, so let's see. Yeah, let's bend the knees. Bring your hands to your hips. What are we doing here? Okay, here we go. So bending the knees, bring your hands to your hips, and you're going to shift onto your left leg. And as you shift your weight to your left leg, turn it on. So all the muscles are awake and engaged. Like there's space, but it's engaged space. Then hover the right thigh off and cross it over for eagle. Now, if you need to, toes can be on the mat. Otherwise, cross, maybe wrap the legs, maybe not. Wrap your arms so the left arm goes over the right. You can start with holding the shoulders, or you can take eagle arms. This is a great place for your kidneys to collapse because there's a lot going on in the front and not as much in the back. You just soften first, bring your mind's eye back towards the kidney space and breathe back into it. And that might change your balance a little bit as you first get there. Totally fine. And remember those soft eyes looking through the space. So you can look right through the arms. Stay there or bring your elbows to your knees. Don't have to, just an option. Don't collapse onto the knees, just a light touch. And then slowly come back up. Let's unfold. And place it back down. Pause and feel the breath. And you'll feel how there may have been some kind of energy or excitement or heat or fear that comes up with a standing balance. It's just like the brain goes, what? It's good to do that and then practice staying spacious for it. So let's switch sides. Bend your knees. Don't let the knees knock together. Keep them wide. Firm the right leg as you shift your weight onto the right leg. So up under the right butt, everything's engaged. Lift your left thigh, cross over. Again, you can put your toes on the floor if you need, or wrap your foot if that's available. The arms wrap too. So it can be just right arm over left, hug the shoulders. Or if it's available to you, cross the hands to come into eagle hands. And breathe. And again, there's a lot going on in the front. Gently bring your awareness more towards the back body. Try lifting your elbows a little. Try sitting a little deeper. Excellent. Slowly, elbows meet the knees. I find I bend my knees a little bit more as I go down. Tension in the back body. You are held at all times and in all ways. And slowly lift back up. And possibly then unfold. Good. And set it back down. Excellent. Step back to the top of your mat now. If you're not there already, like me. Little chaos going through my house. All right, again, a standing balance. Inhale and reach for the stars. Exhale, reach down, touch the mat. Step your left leg back, come into lunge. And then inhale and lift up to crescent. You can bring your hands to your hips for this one. Make the back leg strong. And with hands on the hips, do a little glide of your hips towards the front and inflate the back body really full. Now, hands can come up to cactus. Let's try that. Shift your weight forward into your right leg and come up to to warrior 3. So you shift the weight, you can step the back foot up as many times as you need, and then come forward. So there's challenge. You can put the hands on regular warrior 3 arms. You can take them alongside your body if you need to today. There's challenge, but how can we stay spacious, right? Continue to bring some awareness to the kidneys as if they're puffing up and lifting you to the sky. Back leg firm. Good. Step back to crescent. Take your time. Maybe. And step forward again to standing forward bend. So you can bring your hands down, step your back foot forward, bow, and pause. Release any tension or over efforting that may have crept in before we go to the second side. Inhale, extend your heart towards the front, and exhale, step your right leg back. Come to crescent with your hands on your hips. Back leg firm, and it's got to stay firm through the whole thing. And then puff into the kidneys as you bring right hip forward, left hip back. Hands up into cactus. Shift your weight more and more into your left leg. And as you're ready, step your right foot in a couple of steps and then hover up to warrior three. Make your back leg super duper strong. But then bring some awareness to the space of the kidneys as if they're lifting you. Rather than you collapsing to the floor, they lift you up, back leg really straight. Wrap your left outer hip back. And then step way back again. Crescent. Nice work, everybody. Exhale, touch the mat. One more vinyasa if you'd like, or go right away to downward facing dog and then to child's pose. So after you've come through your your vinyasa, we'll meet up in child's pose. You may be able to hear sounds of life around you. You may notice the natural world or the objects in the space around you as you practice. And it's as we touch those things or they come towards us, the sounds or the objects, can remember that they are engulfed in space and mostly made of space. Let yourself be soft and empty in a very peaceful way, empty of contraction, empty of striving, empty of forcing. When we do, there's more sense of freedom. It's a beautiful thing. All right, slowly now walk your hands back towards your body. Come to seated position. You can sit up on your blanket or block. And we're starting with a seated twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. So as you come to your blanket or block, bring your left shin under, your left leg under, and just sit towards the right side. So your left heel tucks right by your right hip. Turn your inner thigh. And then step your right foot over. Yeah. I'm doing the best to anchor the sitting bone down. Good. Awareness into the kidneys. Breathe back and then take your left arm up and either wrap or hook to twist. Again, as if you're like a hollow form. Breathe deep and elongate your spine. You can hug the right shoulder blade more towards the spine, widen the left shoulder blade away, and you feel how that changes your twist slightly. And then inhale and slowly come back around towards the front. Release your arm. I should have said you might want a strap close by, but
will be okay even if you don't have one. Take the right knee and just slide it over across the left for Gomukhasana. So instead of it being up, now it's slid across. If that's too much on the knees, just come to simple cross-legged. Take the arms out to the sides, big, wide, spacious like the horizon, and turn your right thumb down, and then reach your right hand up your back, behind and up the back, and then the left hand comes up and over. So if that's too much, you can put a strap or a piece of, like a cloth between the hands to touch. Yep. Now hug your left arm up towards the sky. Take your left armpit back and then elbow up. And then just slide your awareness down to the ribs. Sides of the ribs move back, sides of the waistline back. Good. You can stay right here, or staying internally spacious, which I realize can be a real challenge here. Maybe come forward a little bit or a lot. There will be a tendency to allow the front body to collapse, but instead bring attention again and again to the back body, so it stays full as you fold. Maybe 2 more breaths, breathing into the space. As we stretch, we create a little space in the muscles, right? The muscle fibers, and it helps them to get more oxygen. It helps them to have better blood flow. So that's why we feel so good afterwards. Inhale and slowly come back up. Good, unfurl the arms. Let's switch the cross of the legs. So taking the legs out, bring your right heel towards your outer left butt. And you might just slide a little bit on your blanket. I tend to hover towards the edge. And then take your left foot up and over. Left sitting bone down. Inhale, right arm up, and either wrap or hook, your choice. Take your left hand behind to twist. You just start by becoming available to the space that you're in now. This form has changed shape, but you're still held by space. There's still space inside and outside, and we're tapping into maybe a little bit more spaciousness just by moving the body in this way. Hug your left shoulder blade towards your spine. Widen your right shoulder blade slightly away from the spine. And inhale, untwist, come back around towards the front. Good. Slide your left knee across your right knee. You can use your hands to help you get a little bit deeper slide if that's available. What I didn't say on the first side is do push your pinky toes down into the mat so you activate your feet, so you're not overstretching your ankle. Yeah. Take your arms to the sides, left palm or left thumb down, reach down and then up the back, reach the right arm up and over. As soon as I do this, my ribs come forward because I'm working and I want it to be right and I want to reach my hands. So breathe to soften if you're having the same experience. And then send your attention and awareness down and back. Also imagine the head is like another little space capsule and it moves back rather than forward. Yeah, nice. Keep your sitting bones anchored. And you have the choice, stay there or come forward. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. Again, the tendency will be for the front body to just cave in, but if the front body stays a little engaged and lifted, bring attention to the back body will open up. And you'll feel a little lighter in the pose. Soften your jaw. See the space. Feel the space in the body.
And inhale, slowly rise back up. Good. Unfurl the arms.
Undo your legs, bring them straight out ahead of you. Roll your inner thighs to the mat and sit up tall. Then move your low back in and up and bring your hands alongside. Just push slightly out to the side so it gives you that other upliftment. And then notice again, if when the low back came in, if the front ribs also came forward, that happens a lot. So it's subtle, but the front ribs can stay down, the kidneys full. Then take both arms up and pause. Yep. Turn the upper arms towards your face. Settle the sitting bones down, lift up through the kidneys towards the sky. Bring your head parallel to the floor. Now bow forward, so legs strong. Exhale, bow forward. I like to take the arms wide, just like you would for sun salutation, but you can do it arms down either way. As the legs press down firmly into the mat, you'll feel a sense of anchoredness probably. That grounds and anchors you so you don't go floating up off the planet into outer space, but bring your attention again to the sides of the waistline, lifting up to the low back ribs and the space internal to the low back ribs, staying full and open. We do a lot of sitting, we do a lot of get into fear, holding fear or stress. Then that space behind the low back ribs can get very congested. So this helps to open it. Keep pressing the legs down. Keep reaching the heels away from the hips. Keep unfolding at the kidneys and lengthening the ribs away from the hips. Inhale to open to space. Exhale to soften. And placing your hands down beside your shins. Inhale and slowly rise back up. Nice, y'all. Bend your knees. Let's come over onto your back for just a moment. Yep, with the knees bent. Good. And now you may notice as you come down, just more register of your kidney space as it hits the floor, just like, oh, more connection than usual. Nice to notice that if that is happening. If not, it's all right too. Take your hands behind your head, elbows wide as if you were going to do a crunch. And that is sort of what we're going to do. So inhale, lift head and shoulders up off the mat. And then see if the sides of the ribs can move down towards the mat. So the low back is up, but the sides of the ribs, the lowest ribs are still down towards the mat. That's what we're aiming for. Exhale, lower back down. So the low back stays off, but the side ribs, the low ribs move down. Again, keeping your elbows wide. Inhale, head and shoulders up off the mat. This time, take your right leg up off the mat and bend the right knee. So it's like table pose. Take your left leg off, like table pose. They match together. Good. And so you can feel the abdominals engaging, but the kidney staying active and bright. And then lower left leg, lower right leg, head and shoulders back down. Same thing. Lift head and shoulders up off the mat. Elbows stay wide. Press the low back ribs towards the mat. Lift your left leg off. Lift your right leg off. Hold, pause. See if you can breathe and stay spacious, even though we're definitely engaging. And then right leg down, left leg down. Go up again, head and shoulders up off the mat. Lift your left leg off. Lift your right leg off. Hold, pause. See if you can breathe and stay spacious, even though we're definitely engaging. And then right leg down, left leg head and shoulders back down. Go up again, head and shoulders off. Right leg off, left leg off, pause. If you'd like, you may straighten the legs, and you can even lower the legs, depending on however your abdominals are feeling this morning. Yeah, keeping the front ribs glued in, the back ribs down.
Then bend your knees, right foot down, left foot down, head and shoulders back down. Stay spacious, head and shoulders up, left leg up, right leg up. Again, option to straighten the legs. They can lower if that's the minute your low back ribs come off, though, just bring the legs back up slightly. Good. Bend the knees back in, left leg down, right leg down, head and shoulders back down. Let's do one more set. Inhaling off. Just keep breathing as you're up there. Right leg comes up, left leg comes up. Option to straighten the legs or to kind of like bend and straighten the legs. So bringing some movement in. That feels challenging to me. And then bend both knees again. Right foot down, left foot down, head and shoulders back down. One more time, head and shoulders off. Left leg off, right leg off. Option to straighten the legs or option to bend and straighten the leg. Moving on, whatever angle feels like the right angle for you. And that can be, fast or slow. Bend the knees again. Left leg down, right leg down, head and shoulders back down, and rest. You can take your arms to the sides or out of your way in the way that makes sense to you. Breathe. And again, so you may notice that the low back might have sort of helped the low kidneys, the ribs pop off. So just melt the kidneys towards the floor now. So if they melt down and can spread out like goo, kidney goo. Bend your knees, roll to your right side, come all the way back up and bring your 2 blocks to the top of your mat. Not all the way up to standing, but kneeling is or sitting is good. So 2 blocks at the top of the mat. And we'll stretch the triceps. So come to hands and knees or hands and knees, and then bring your elbows onto your blocks. Remember the elbows go just a little bit into the block, about a third of the way up. Join palms. Now, before you go into your deep stretch, take a breath and puff up the kidneys. Then soften your upper back, walk your knees back a bit, then stretch. So the idea here is that the kidneys stay full, as they have through this whole practice. Armpits lift so your heart can soften, and slightly pull back with your hips so your upper arm gets some strength and stretch at the same time. Breathe into the space around you. Breathe into the space within you. There's no time when space is not right here. We just forget. We lose access because the mind becomes so clouded or the body becomes so contorted or constricted. We forget. The practice helps us to remember. That's why we go through these motions, to help remember space. It could also be called the self. Lift up a little, walk your knees in a bit. And let's take the blocks away. Headed towards headstand pose. So interlace your fingers. We'll start with dolphin. Bring your shoulders over your elbows. And again, I just tend to totally collapse. My heart is so open, but then I lose my back waistline. So big breath so that there's no collapse. There's this feeling of aliveness in the back of the body. Then hug your shoulder blades to the back of your heart. Soften, melt the heart. Lift your knees up, lift your hips up, and walk into dolphin. So we're watching out for even as the heart softens. So armpits towards your head, heart towards your thighs, hug shoulder blades on the back of the heart, but a little aliveness in the kidneys. A lot of pieces and parts going on. From your kidneys, push downwards into the arms, into the floor. From your kidneys, reach up to the hips and down through the legs into the mat. And you just breathe and you just play with space. even in the challenge, even if the shoulders and arms get a little tired. It's all right. And then slowly walk your knees back, or sorry, your feet back, lower your knees and do come to child's pose. You can wrap the arms around towards your heels if that feels nice, or keep them forward. When you bring your hands to your heels, you make an energetic little circuit out of your body that can be very calming and stabilizing. All of this work should eventually leave you feeling calmed and stabilized. Okay. Placing your hands down, sit up. And your choice if you want to go to a wall for your headstand or stay in the center of your space. I'm going to, you can do it however you want, but the option or the recommendation today is to continue with this awareness of your back waistline. And so the practice of curling into a ball to go up versus taking one leg and then the other, if that's available to you. Just because, again, it helps you to stay really connected to the back waistline. So, of course, if headstand's not a good idea today, please practice legs up the wall, or you can do dolphin again. Otherwise, as you're ready, you all know it, so I'm not going to give you crazy instruction. But you just place yourself well. Make sure the floor that you're on is as level as is possible to have in your space. And then you walk yourself in, place your head down, heels towards buns, and unfurl slowly. Nice, Leighton. Nice, everybody. From your kidneys, actually just feel your kidneys, right? Even if you're in legs up the wall, feel your kidneys. And they can help be kind of an anchor into the back body that doesn't pull you down, hopefully. They might pull you down. We'll see. See if you can bring your heels more in line with your kidneys. To do that, you might have to scoop your tail a lot. And you press down through the arms, into the floor, down through even the head into the floor. Yeah. And just be soft with yourself. So you're here, but not straining, no expectation. Continue bringing your attention into the kidney space area and breathing. If you're doing this as a prep with your feet on the wall, it can get very tiring, so feel free to give yourself breaks. If you're still up, you can just play. See about staying a little longer than you might usually. Yeah. And then as you're ready to come down, really good time to also pay attention to your kidneys, the back, the low back waistline, particularly as the knees come towards the belly. Yeah. And then come to child's pose again. You'll notice the child's pose is very much like the preparation of the headstand. And just rest a moment. Feel the space around you and within you. Notice the space between the breaths. The space is always here, we just forget. Let the practice help you remember. Softly bring your hands back. Come back up to seated. Come back to your space if you didn't already.
And then grab a blanket to sit on again. Nice. Good. That looked really peaceful. I hope it was for you. Did not look like as much struggle as it sometimes can be. So now let's take the legs out wide. Upavishta Konasana. Good. Roll your inner thighs towards the mat and sit up tall. And then turn and face over your right leg. And as you do, just imagine the left kidney sort of swinging around with you, the left lung swinging around, and the right lungs and kidney moving back. Yeah. Then with a breath, lift up and exhale to come forward. And again, you'll notice as we do these forward bends that the back body space is more exposed. It gets more possibility for opening. Now you can reach with the left hand for your right foot or use a strap. What may become apparent is more constriction than space, and that's all right. That's why we're here. Send your loving attention to the places that feel sticky. Legs stay firm, keep hugging them towards the middle. Roll your inner thighs down, extend through your spine. Inhale and slowly rise back up. Settle to the center again so you feel these sitting bones even, and then turn to the left. As you do, imagine sort of the left kidney and rib moving wide to the left out of the way as the right kidney and rib come around towards your foot. Take a deep breath, sit up tall, legs firm. Exhale, come forward. Again, your right hand may reach your left foot or somewhere else. Left shin, it's fine. Keep the legs firm and hug the heels lightly towards each other. Roll the inner thighs towards the mat. Lift your low belly slightly as you bow. But then extending the bones, reach your spine a little longer. Let there be space within your mind, within your body, within your heart. Space that's always here. Inhale and slowly rise back up. Turn back towards the front. Good. Join the soles of your feet together. And press the feet together. So when you join the soles of the feet and press them together, slightly lift your inner ankle. So again, you're not overstretching the outer ankle. Sit up tall and either stay tall with attention to the back waistline and just soft base, or come forward a bit to Baddha Konasana with a forward bend. Keep the feet active. Press the feet in towards each other. Roll inner thighs towards the mat. Press your knees to the sides, but then lengthen the sides of your rib cage so you really get space between the ribs and the hips as you fold. You can hold the ankles or have the hands out ahead of you. Instead of holding the breath, let it move freely. And then inhale, slowly rise back up. Take just a moment of like just a seated spaciousness moment, meditation-ish. So cross your legs or sit comfortably, however that is for you. I like just a simple cross-legged. Sitting up very tall. Rest your hands down. Close your eyes. Feel the edges of your form. Feel the vastness of space surrounding the form. Whatever may come to you through the form in terms of sound or sensation, know that that is also coming through this space. Rest back a little bit more. And being held in space. Again, attune to the body as if it is hollow. So if you could feel the space in the center of each atom. And open the boundaries of the skin. Allowing some of the form to dissolve. So that there's this interplay of space outside and space inside. This spaciousness can dissolve any contractions. This spaciousness is full of peace. Staying tuned to the space within and all around. Slowly make your way onto your back. So the eyes may need to crack a little bit. Things might need to get moved, that's fine, but just take your time, come to your back. We'll take one twist here. Allow the arms to expand like the expanding horizon. Out along the floor. And hover your feet up off the mat, knees bent. Take both knees to the right side. Stack your hips. Attend to the space. So the form's shape has changed. Body's in a different shape, but the space is still here. Allow your left shoulder to soften towards the mat. Maybe turn your head towards the left. And if the eyes are open, see the space. The eyes are closed, attend to the space. As you inhale, bring your legs up into the middle. As you exhale, take them to the left. Stack your right hip over your left. Soften the right shoulder towards the mat and turn the gaze towards the right. And again, either close the eyes and attend to space. Or if the eyes are open, see the space between the objects rather than the objects.
In this way, we stay more plugged into the eternal life force that resides in this space, that is this space. And inhale and bring both legs to the middle. You might like a happy baby or just hold your knees or curl into a ball. Whatever you choose, let it be wide open rather than contractive in your energy. As that feels complete, stretch yourself out. Come to Shavasana. Shavasana being the place where we can most easily reconnect with that space. So allow the body to sink into the floor. And again, come to the understanding or the remembrance of space all around you. And space permeating your body. And as the pores of the skin remain open and open even more, allow the edges of you to dissolve. Whatever is not needed, whatever is not helpful, dissolves into the radiant peace of space. Let yourself rest and be held here for your Shavasana.
This is a reading from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra, Radiance Sutras, as translated by Lauren Roach, the Sutra 20. The radiance of space permeates the body and all directions simultaneously. Space is always here, already here before you're noticing of it. What we call space is a presence, permission to exist, and worlds within which to express. Without thinking about it, without forming mental images, rest in this vast expanse, friends with infinity. Feel the space around your form, within your form. And feel the density, the earthiness of your form itself. Both are true. Gently begin to awaken by moving fingers and toes. You can stretch and move however feels right now. And bend your knees and come on over to your right side. Cradle yourself a moment. You are held. Press your hands down, and slowly come back up to your seat. Sit well and close your eyes once more. Turn inwards. Just notice. May this practice help you to release constriction and contraction so that you can experience space. Mental space that allows you to hold whatever is happening in your life, but also the deep peace of the space that holds everything. May it permeate your heart and all hearts. Bring your palms together out in front. We'll close with an Om. Welcome your in-breath. Om. Namaste. Alrighty, all. Thank you so much for sharing practice today.